Hey guys, Lucas here from Vintage Surplus, and today we're going to do a first impressions video, which is not something I get to do normally. And why we get to do it for once is because I got a piece of gear I've never been able to get a hold of and only really seen a few pictures of, and that is the Airborne TAP, if I can hold it the right way up. Just got a hold of one of these, so as of right now, as of filming, we don't have these for sale just because it's the one. All we'll be doing is a lot of work on these though, so you see some follow-on videos as far as setups, how to use this, what to do with it, how to get adjusted, what it really offers you. But I've had this, for a very short amount of time, so really is a good first impressions on what this is, what it offers, and what popped out at me as far as how to use this thing. So let's get into the Airborne TAP and what it is. Please forgive me, I've got a bit of a cold, so my voice is a little off and rough, but hopefully by the time I film more content on these Airborne TAPs, we'll be over and done with it. But yeah, let's just get into this now. So the Airborne TAP. This tactical assault panel is a lot different than the tactical assault panel we've gone over quite a few times, and you hopefully love as much as I do. Definitely a lot different. So let's go into some of those obvious differences. First off, it's more of an H harness setup. So if you take a look at this, you can obviously see that this is heavily based off your old Eagle Industries H harnesses and your DFLCS H harnesses and some of the other ones that are more current on the market right now, but you don't have a whole lot of H harness options. So this is a good H harness format as far as piece of gear goes, and has some things to offer from there. So let's get rid of this because this is old now, and this is the new. So it's made up of 3 different sections. So and these main MOLLE panel sections make up your side and go into the center are pretty cool and offer some good options and kind of features to them. So they're pretty cool at the end of the day. So you have 2 of these. They're 8 MOLLE wide. So you have plenty of room, and they're 3 deep or 3 tall, however you want to call it. So you have plenty of room for accessories, pouches, everything like that. And being rigid with that plastic stiffener interior means if you have a soft pouch that's not really holding its form very well, or if it's empty, or you have a lot of weight, and then some empty pouches, something like that, it's going to hold its form, hold its shape very well. So you don't have to worry about anything there. So having a plastic reinforcing stiffener in there, good idea on the Army or whoever made this up. From there, it connects to the harness, and we'll show this connection because it's a little different than normal. It doesn't just straight detach. You're kind of connected in, which is a little reminiscent of the Gen 1 TAPs. I am going to double check the contract date on this to make sure it's not like a super early contract. But yeah, this is interesting right there, but is what it is. So this, if I can see on the camera, let me just show y'all. Looking at this label, it is a 2019 contract date, so this is a few years old, obviously more than 2 years old. This has been out, so this is kind of one of the earlier gens as far as these go. But again, see what kind of changes they made nowadays. When we get a hold of more of them, hopefully. So reinforced side panels with first spear tubes. These are actually branded first spear tubes, so that means when you're wearing this, you actually have some good tubes, which I have to get used to these because I'm not 100% on point with first spear tubes, but these are actually branded ones. We'll see if the Army goes to an off-branded general contract, but it's actually got the first spear logo on here, so that is pretty cool. You're getting some good quality gear to connect this up. So it does sit like this, and again, we'll take a look at this worn as well. But okay. Now going to the back of it, so the back side is mesh panels, which is pretty cool. Now they are sectioned off into a main mesh panel and then a slimmer one. Probably just give it a little less, so it's not quite as loose. But I thought this might hold a AR mag. I did try to put an AR mag in there. It does not fit, which would have been pretty cool if it did fit in there. But yeah, closes with standard hook and loop, kind of flat. But you can put your soft goods in here, maps, marking material, stuff like that. It's going to fit in there just fine and be able to hold some loose added material right in your harness, which is always a plus. Center section, nothing like that, but it is full mesh, so that way you have a good breathable point in the center of your back. If I can get my camera centered for once. That way you're not like really trapping a whole lot of heat right there. It is going to dump some heat, especially if you have a pouch on top of it. And then same thing on the other side, first spear tube, pretty awesome, and then that mesh, it's kind of storage section. So let's look at the center section from the other side, what that kind of does for you. So your center section is pretty simple, not a whole lot to it. Again, it is all mesh, so if you have a pouch on here, it's going to dump some heat pretty well, even with the pouch on it, which is really nice if you're wearing this in a hot environment or stuck in the back of a plane because you're airborne, whatever it may be. But yeah, you can detach the side panels from here really easily, so you can pack this thing down really well, get it folded up and get it packed into your backpack, whatever need be. It's going to be super easy because it's a quick release, and these straps are really adjustable for your width. So you can get that just down pretty easy. And then it comes up here, so you have a height adjustment as well with your H harness. But yeah, the center section, not a lot to it. It's not reinforced as far as stiffener goes. So it's going to be a little looser, all depending on what kind of pouch you put back here. But, you know, that's not too bad at the end of the day. It is well made. This whole thing so far has been quite impressive that it's much better made than I thought it would be. I'm actually pretty impressed with the Airborne TAP. So let's go from here. So we kind of already briefed up on the H harness itself. It's pretty simple, 4 points of connection, which is going to be a stable load, even if it's not quite level. It's still going to be pretty stable. On the back side, it is very height adjustable, and then the guy that had this one wove it through the molly straps, so it's really, you know, contained as far as the straps aren't going to come loose as it is. But where it connects into the side panels is kind of interesting, and it is very reminiscent of like a Gen 1 tap, your standard tap, as far as it does unbuckle right here, but then it's really secured in. So let's take a closer look at how it's kind of secured into the panel. So as you can kind of see here, it is woven in completely, which gives you a secondary point of like contact as far as this being, it's going to stay on you once it's buckled in. If this buckle were to bust, you know, if for some reason, if I can get the camera right, if this buckle were to come undone, for whatever reason, it's still going to be secure on you because of the way it is woven in here through this little ring or webbing. It is on there, so you do have some points of adjustability there. You could really get this, let's say this is too tall for you, for whatever reason, like the width, the length of the molly strap is just too tall, you could easily tighten it down and really get into just this. So that's pretty neat. It's kind of hard to show because I've never done this kind of review before, but pretty cool that you can adjust down, and it has an extra retention point as far as how the strap is held in there. Is it a game changer? I don't think so, but it does add a whole level of retention. If I can, again, get this centered. As far as the H harness goes on there, it's really not going to come off if you hit this buckle. You're good, you're solid, and it gives you a little extra adjustability as far as things go. So pretty cool there. Now I haven't taken the whole lot of time to really adjust this thing down. Luckily, whoever was before me was generally my size, so it is kind of fitting how I'd want it to, but I do need to adjust this waist in a good bit more. But you can see it sits pretty well. Once this is loaded up, you got molly really close to your front in the center section, kind of like old Flicks is, or your old Flick would be. And so you can have everything kind of right there. It's not off to the side. You don't have to reach to a big gap. Everything's right here. In this first rear tube, I got to get used to these things. Makes it really easy to don and doff. Throw this on, slide this up. You're good to go, which, yeah, I got to get used to these things because I haven't really messed with a whole lot of first rear tube, anything like this a lot. So yeah. Once this is tightened down, we're going to go over either a slick carrier. The Army carriers are a little bulky, so I don't know how well it fit over an Army carrier as far as really comfortability goes. You could definitely not connect this into a carrier. It's more if, you know, wear over something or standalone. But standalone wise, these straps are pretty thick. I mean, it's an excessively wide strap. It's definitely going to still have a point where there's looseness on the sides, but it's going to distribute that load really well across your shoulders. And in the back, it's coming down. You can get this adjusted really well. I think there's going to be no issues as far as carrying a heavy load on these and not staying comfortable. Yeah, again, like I kind of already said, awesome. I think these are really good evolution of the gear. These are kind of a Flick 2.0. While it is an H harness, it is taking that fighting load carrier, some of the features of the fighting load carrier, and really integrating it into one good H harness that the Army, I think, actually for once did a half decent job on something on the first iteration. And, you know, hopefully they continue to make progress on these and they don't stick with just like this version, and they get a little fancier with it, add some upgrades, make it a little more removable from the side section so the harness isn't built in quite as hard. But once they do that, I think it'd be really cool. But once we get later evolutions, we'll be able to see if they did those kind of fixes. Yeah, this is a first impression, so hope you enjoyed this one. But yeah, let's close this out. So that's a really quick rundown of the Airborne TAP and what it has, what's included there. Overall, I think once these finally, whenever they do hit the market as far as being more available, like we're able to get more of them, or they just, you know, have a more steady trickle in, I think it's going to be a pretty significant game changer as far as gear goes, because what this does is it keeps you from having to buy what is normally a pretty expensive system as far as something that's up to like kind of modern standards when it comes to how light it is, how thin it is. The H harness is very thick, just like the old RRVs. They're well padded at the end of the day, which isn't a bad thing, especially for the loads you can carry with those. But it does have its detractors kind of at the end of the day. But yeah, so airborne harness or airborne tap, however you want to call it, airborne tap, is pretty cool. I think the rigid sides is a big upgrade because you're going to have a lot of stability there, and in the back being quick release, so you can get this packed down tight. If you have it fully loaded out, which you need to put in a backpack to carry later, or if you just want to carry this, you have the options of with empty pouches on there to put on for whatever use. Having this ability to just really get this thing down tight, no matter what's on there, is pretty cool. And then the H harness itself, I have been thinking, I think if you played with a lot of straps, and I mean a lot of straps, you could use this harness on a tap and it would work half decently. You could take these side panels off completely, and then you have to rig up on the side of your tap some extra straps to connect into the back here. But if you had an airborne tap laying around and some extra buckles and straps, 2-inch webbing laying around, 1-inch webbing laying around, you could actually use this H harness on a tap and have a super cool harness to use on your tap. But airborne tap as it is, good harness going on there. So that's it. Let me know what you think. If you have one of these, worked with one of these, got issued one of these, let me know what you think in the comments below, because I definitely want to see how these are kind of meshing out in the Army, because I just haven't seen anything on these really. Again, it's the first one to come across our tables, and then I haven't seen a whole lot of pictures of them in use. I haven't seen a lot of guys saying anything about them. Very little out there as far as what I've seen first-hand use on an airborne tap. So yeah, let us know in the comments below, but I appreciate you watching. Hopefully, in a not too distant future, we get a hold of more of these so we can have this for sale. I'm just going to hold on to this one for now. It may go up as it is as a single later on, but as of now, it's just this one. So thanks for watching, subscribe, and if you really want to know when these kind of show up, make sure on our emails or follow our Instagram, because that'll be the first place you find out when we have these. So thanks.